Hello everybody, welcome to day 12, February of 2021. Thank you very much for being a part of my channel. Thank you for, if you found this video and you listen all the way through, I really appreciate it. Any watch time hours or subscription will help me tremendously to be able to reach out to the masses with my channel that I want 90% to be positive and amazing content. So again, I appreciate you and I thank you for being here and being a part of it. Currently, we are reading out of a book called New Morning Mercies, a daily gospel devotional by the author's name, Paul David Tripp. Pretty amazing gentleman. I like what he has said, and I enjoy his content, and I hope that you will also. I love the fact that I can be here doing something positive for me. That's number one. But the aftermath of all of that is that you get to listen to it as well, and I love that, and I appreciate that. And it makes me feel good, the 1 or 2 comments that I get per video, or the 8 to 25 people that view these videos. It's awesome. It makes me feel good. It's not always about the view. It's about the impact that the 8 to 25 that listen, how it affected them. And that's what I'm very proud of. Of course, I want it to be more, but for now, it is good. It is what it is, and it's wonderful. So without further dragging, let's get further to this reading, shall we? All right. February 12th. Faith isn't natural for us. Doubt is, fear is, and pride is. But faith in the words of and works of another isn't. And for that there's grace. God hasn't just forgiven you. Praise Him that He has. But He has also called you to brand new way of living. He has called you to live by faith. Now, here's the rub. Faith is not normal for us. Faith is frankly a counterintuitive way for us to live. Doubt is quite natural for us. Wondering what God is doing is natural. It's natural to think your life is harder than that of others. Envying the life of someone else is natural. Wishing life were easier and that you had more control is natural. It's typical for you and me to try to figure out the future. Worry is natural. Fear is natural. Wanting to give up is natural. It's natural to wonder if all of your good habits make a difference in the end. It's normal to be occasionally haunted by the question of whether what you have staked your life on is really true. But faith isn't natural. This means that faith isn't something you can work up inside yourself. Faith comes to you as God's gift of grace. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God. Ephesians 2:8. Not only is your salvation a gift of God, but the faith is to embrace it is His gift as well. But here is what you need to understand. God not only gives you the grace to believe for your salvation, but He also works to enable you to live by faith. If you are living by faith, you know that you have been visited by powerful transforming grace, because that way of living just isn't normal for you and me. If your way of living is no longer based on what your eyes can see and your mind can understand, but on God's presence, promises, principles, and provisions, it is because God has crafted faith in you. Could it be that all of those things that come your way that confuse you and that you never would have chosen for yourself are God's tools to build your faith? By progressive, transforming grace, He is enabling you to live the brand new life He calls all of His children to live, the Godward life for which you were created. You don't have to hide in guilt when weak faith gets you off the path, because you hope in life isn't your faithfulness, but His. You can run in weakness and once again seek His strength, and you can know that in zealous grace He will not leave His craft work until faithfully rules your heart unchallenged. He always gives freely what we need in order to do what He has called us to do. For further study and encouragement, Hebrews 11. All right, so let's get right into Hebrews 11. All right, here. All right. By faith, we understand now. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by the elders obtained a good testimony. By faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are visible. By the faith Abel offered to God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and through it he, being dead, still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken away so that he did not see death, and was not found because God had taken him. For before he was taken, he had this testimony that he pleased God. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is rewarded of those who diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being divinely warned of things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which he according to faith. By faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go to the place which he would receive as an inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. By faith he dwelt in the land of promise, as in foreign country, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. By faith Sarah herself also received strength to conceive seed, and she bore a child when she was past the age, because she judged him faithfully he had promised. Therefore from one man, and him as good as dead, were born as many as the stars of the sky, multitude innumerable as the sand which is by the seashore. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For those who say such things declare plainly that they seek a homeland. And truly, if they had called to mind the country from which they had come out, they would have had opportunity to return. But now the desire to be better, to a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. By the faith of Abram, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promise offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said in Isaiah, your seed shall be called, concluding that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from which he also received him in figurative sense. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob, and concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph, and worshipped, leaning on the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he was dying, made mention of the departure of the children of Israel, and gave instruction concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hidden 3 months by his parents, because they saw he was a beautiful child, and they were not afraid of the king's command. By faith Moses, when he became of age, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction of the people of God than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin. Sin's esteem the reproach of Christ greater riches than treasure in Egypt, for he looked to the reward. By faith he forsake Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. By faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he knew destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, whereas the Egyptians attempted to do were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were encircled for 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab did not perish with those who did not believe, when she had received the spies which peace. And what more shall I say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Salmon and Jephthah, as of David and Samuel and the prophets, who thought faith subdued kingdoms, worked righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lion, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of the weakness were made strong, became valiant in battle, turned to flight the enemies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepted deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Still others had trials of mocking and scourging, yes, and of chains and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn in two, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheep skins and goat skins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains and caves of the earth, and all things, having obtained a good testimony through faith, did not receive the promise. God having provided some better for us, that they should not be made perfect apart from us. That was really hard for me to read. I apologize for that, guys. Not the best reader, but again, I do it for me, and hopefully you guys got something out of it. I really am blessed that if you did struggle through it with me, thank you for listening. Very much. It means a lot to me. If you are a returning subscriber or a new subscriber and you haven't hit the subscribe button, please consider to do so. If you haven't hit the like button and you'd like to do that for me, please do so. And also, lastly but not least, if you have not hit the notification bell and you would like to be notified of my videos, whether through email or just throw away the email and know that it helps my channel grow, please consider to do that as well. every little bit helps me to be able to broaden my channel, to be able to give you 90% positivity through my channel, and I'm excited for it. Thank you very, very, very much. And lastly, I always end my videos with saying thank you very much. Even if you are non-Christian or a Christian, God died on the cross for my sins, and that is so powerful for me that I cannot help but know that he wants me to love each and every single one of you regardless of your situation. That is not my business. That is God's business to mess around with your business. I'm here to just love on you, pray over you, and desire good things for you and your life. Until next time, I want to say thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Bye now.